Hey, what's up? It's Kit time for another video. Today, we're going to review Skill Gamma. Skill Gamma is a fast jig that is technically a slow jig. At a time when slow jigging wasn't too popular or it wasn't invented yet, a lot of people were trying to experiment on shapes for jigs, and this was what they found out. One of the shapes that they found out to actually make the hang time longer was to make it asymmetrical. So technically speaking, this is a slow jig, but it's a fast jig. Okay, so rigging it is also kind of different. All right, so for this rig, we are going to be using Chase Medium 7/0. The cord we're going to be using is number 25 Varibas SS, my favorite, and we're gonna be putting an insert on this. Okay, so let's go ahead and cut a length. Okay, then we're gonna go ahead and take out the core. So you draw the core down, or draw the core out by just pulling on the sleeve. And there you have it. Then take fluorocarbon, insert it like so. As soon as you get the tip or the fluorocarbon out of the tip, you make a knot so it doesn't move. And you put this knot as far forward as you can. You're not going to be using the whole length. Make sure to cut a longer piece than you need. Okay, so you have this end that stops it. Just cut it. Okay. And we're going to use this end anyway because, as you know, we always like to make the stoppers. And for this one, I feel like making a stopper. Okay, make that knot as small as possible. The advantage of having a stopper, of course, is you can have your knot very compressed. So this one you can cut, okay, just like that. Burn it a little bit just so it doesn't move. Now we'll go ahead and tie that on to our hook right there. All right, so what I'm going to do is bring you in closer, just so you see what's happening. All right. Now, what we do here, before we actually tie our hook, is to put our solid ring. All right. So solid ring here, like this, in, all right, and then twist, and then go down, like so, twist, and then it's easier if you have like a hook puller. Okay, like so. Okay, now we're gonna pull the long piece. Okay, that. And then we're going to pull the short piece, and that thing is tight. All right. Now what we can do is actually tie a knot here in the long piece. And again, we make this as close to the end of that thing as possible. Okay. Still a bit of wiggle room we could use. We don't want to lose the length. Okay, there we go. Like so. There's a bit of a stub there that we can use to grip. There we go. Okay, a little bit there, and then all we need is to actually pull that. Okay, now let's see here. Okay, I want this shorter. Okay, there we go. So it gives us an offset. It's exactly what I want. Okay. Okay, so sometimes the process of this takes a bit longer than what you want. All right, so we have 2 stoppers now. Okay. Right there. Okay, and as you can see, offset. Okay, offset. Now what we want to do is tie this short, like that. We want the length. Okay. And this is perfectly okay if you have a stopper. It's not possible if you're just binding it without a stopper. So we are putting a stopper right there. Okay, there we go. That's not gonna move. Okay. Now we're gonna glue that later. Okay, and that is not gonna move. Now we take our other hook. We always start with the long one because as soon as you put the short one on, it's easier to manage. Okay, so what I usually do is fold this like so. Okay, put it near the ring right there. Okay, so you have your working length like that, and this you can fold so you have all that space, and then you can tape this up. Just use masking tape. That way you don't get in trouble. I have been stabbed so many times by hooks And the better the hooks, the easier you will get stabbed as well. So just like that. Okay. And then we can go ahead and tie it. As you can see, it is easier to manage it like this. Okay, so make sure that it's the same length. You can be a little bit off, it doesn't matter. Okay, there we go. That's it. Okay. Tighten it. So you can see this hook tool is actually very useful. This wasn't a hook tool. This was actually kind of like an angle tool, and then I bent it with round nose pliers. Like this one right here. I just kind of manipulated it until it became round. It's very useful when you're tightening. Alright, so there we go. Now, peel this off. Be careful when you're peeling this off too. Now normally, what happens with this braid is that it is a bit stiff, and then once you've used it a few times, it becomes really soft. But now that there's a fluorocarbon core inside, it'll be really good. Alright, now, you just adjust this so that it faces. Now you could use it like that, and that's perfectly fine. Catch you a lot of fish, but I found that if I did this so that they would be really like that, it'll be fine. Now, the head here, we're putting a swivel. Okay, it's up to you if you put a solid ring or a swivel here, but it helps with the motion. It really helps it. It really helps it come alive even more. And as you can see, I've also rigged a big solid ring or split ring here. Okay, now if I can find a smaller one, I'll show you. If you have a small split ring on this, you will notice that the fluttering is actually less, because it only has a small space to do that. But the bigger it is, the easier it would be for the fluttering motion or the wobble. All right. Now the wobble is important because it's the one that gives the flash. Okay, so the more your jig wobbles side to side, the more it will give out flash. Now remember, this doesn't have glow. See, this is all silver, so even you can see that it doesn't reflect as much like that. Okay, so I have two lights here, one here and one there. Okay, doesn't give off that much flash, but if you go like this, that's a lot of flash. And you can see that the movement it has with the split ring is considerably more. Then add the swivel, it gives it a bit more freedom. So it's not going to go really mental. It's just that you're giving it as much freedom to wobble as you can. And it's not going to wobble much because it's slim, so it doesn't have a lot of surface area on the sides, but giving that extra little bit that you need. Okay, now let's attach these hooks so that you can see exactly how this thing works. So the rigging is a hybrid. It's half. I mean, I started rigging this like this. Okay, I've started rigging jigs like this fairly recently. Before it was always pointed out. But I found that if I rigged it like this, I often will have both hooks hit the fish. Whereas with opposing sides, I don't really snag the fish with the second hook. So with this, I get really good coverage, okay, like that. Plus, it sits on the body when it's sliding. So let's say you're jerking it and then you're letting it fall, or sliding it forward. What happens is that the hooks will be on the body like that. Okay, so when the fish usually hits there. Okay, I'll have one inside the mouth and one outside. And it's a hell of a lot better than just having one. Okay, so it works. Now, if you have an unruly hook such as this, just keep on twisting it. And a tip that you could use is actually to run a lighter, just like that. Okay, it helps. That little bit of heat just sets things. See? And that's not gonna move. All right, so yeah, Skill Gamma, one of the really good jigs out there that a lot of people might or might not know of, but definitely something that should be in your box, because you can technically use this both as a fast jig and a slow jig. So on a swift current, in fact very swift current, this would work really well because it has such a thin profile. And this thing is I believe this is 180, no, 200 something, or 180, I don't know. So 200 or 180. So it's a good weight for a lot of applications. Shallow or deep, this actually works. Caught tuna on this, amberjack, different types of tuna actually. All right, so that's it. Skill Gamma from Hots, and we've just rigged it. Very nice sliding jig. All right, if you have questions, please drop them in the comment section. If you're new to the channel, this channel talks about the hows and whys of fishing. We cover everything from big game, ultralight, everything in the middle, including fly fishing. And lately we have been rigging a lot of jigs for the jig rigging library, so that a lot of people across the world will have a reference on how to rig these jigs, because some of these jigs are actually kind of hard to rig. And showing best practice, of course, on how to rig these. And there's different situational riggings for, take for example, places that require only 2 hooks. You could only use 2 hooks. So we have examples of that, and other things as well. All right, so if you haven't yet, give this a thumbs up if you've learned something. Subscribe, very very important, so that every time we publish a new video you would be able to it's subscribe, click on the notification bell. That's very very important, so and also we're having giveaways from time to time, so you don't want to miss out on those. So we do that every channel milestone that we have. Right now it's 16,000, so we're having a giveaway with Sea Falcon at 16,000. That is due on the 27th of November when we pick a winner, and that's a live event. So if you want to check that out, or if you want to join, just subscribe and then comment on the Sea Falcon giveaway video. All right, so that's it for now. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Class is